Tonight, your DiamondDawgs are joined by the Frankfurt Schuyler and Herkimer Little Leagues as part of our Baseball Buddy program, sponsored by our buddies at GPL Federal Credit Union. Starting in left field from Bucknell University, number 3, John Calabrese. Starting in center field from Virginia Tech, number 11, Caden Hart. Starting in right field from Siena College, number 28, Edwin Sanchez. Starting at third base from Wagner College, number 4, Emmett Coco. Starting at shortstop from Seton Hall University, number 13, Joey Calabretti. Starting at second base from SUNY Albany, number 27, Justin Hurd. Starting at first base from St. Thomas Aquinas College, number 23, Brendan Hawk. And tonight's starting catcher from SUNY Brockport, number 17, Matt Mayer. And tonight's starting pitcher for your Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs from Villanova University, number 21, Jack Jarvis. The DiamondDawgs are led by head coach Steve Luby and assisted by Mike Harrington and Adam Kowalski. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Singing tonight's national anthem from Little Falls is Phil Lalonde.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, big round of applause for the man with the microphone, Phil Lalonde. Fans, if you're focusing your attention on the pitcher's mound, we will see Larry Myers representing Frankfurt Little League, along with Anthony Scalise from the Herkimer Little League, who will be throwing out tonight's ceremonial.
Fans, welcome to Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs Baseball. I'm Pete Pagliaro, your broadcaster for tonight, and it is perfect game Collegiate League Baseball against the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs and the visiting Glens Falls Dragons.
All right,
First, let's go through the lineups for the Glens Falls Dragons before we get started here. The second baseman tonight, number 2, is going to be Janeo Savoca. In center field is number 17, Tyler Figueroa from Appalachian State. At first base is number 18, Nick Galileo from Hofstra University. The right fielder for the Dragons, number 22, Cody Meyer. At third base, it's number 13, Joe Carpiatz. The extra hitter is number 4, Enrique Diaz. In left field is number 20, Aiden Gallagher. The DH is number 16, Cameron Biller. Catching for the Dragons is number 7, Joe Haynes. And the shortstop for the Dragons tonight, number 9, Michael Sweeney. On the mound tonight for the Glens Falls Dragons will be R.J. Hensel, number 28, from Flagler College. The Dragons are coached by Ryan Deo. And for the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs in left field is number 3, John Calabrese from Bucknell University. In right field is number 28, Edwin Sanchez from Siena College. The shortstop is number 13, Joey Calabretti from Seton Hall University. The second baseman is number 27, Justin Hurd from UAlbany. The DH is number 14, Ian Olschlager from RPI. At first base is number 23, Brandon Hawk from St. Thomas Aquinas University. Catching for the Dogs, number 17 is Matt Mayer from SUNY Brockport. At third base is number 4, Emmett Coco from Warner University. And the center fielder tonight for the Dogs is number 11, Caden Hart from Virginia Tech. On the mound for Mohawk Valley is number 21, Jack Chavez. Chavez from Villanova University. And the Dogs are coached by Coach Luby. So again, Pete Pagliaro here on the broadcast. It's been a minute since I've been on the broadcast. Unfortunately, we've had a sad moment here in Little Falls for the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs, losing our public address announcer, Lou Pirano, the voice of the Dogs. I'm sure many of you have heard the name and have listened to his call. So our condolences go back to his family as we have a big loss to carry on here with the loss of Lou Pirano. So condolences to his family and his sister and nephew, who may be listening in tonight. And we are doing exactly what Lou would have wanted, watching baseball, playing baseball, and bringing it to you here from Little Falls. So we are set for the first pitch. Jack Chavez will wind and deliver. And their first pitch is a called strike. And we are underway here on this Sunday evening for some baseball here in the Eastern Division between the Glens Falls Dragons and the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs. Here is the second pitch from Chavez. He winds and delivers, and that is high and outside for ball one in the count, 1-1 to Janeo Savoca. Savoca from the College of Charleston. He is a left-handed batter here for the Dragons. Dragons wearing their black tops tonight with the red lettering and gray pants. And here's the windup and the pitch from Mohawk Valley's Chavez for a strike two, and the count now is 1-2. So Jack Chavez, the pitcher for Mohawk Valley from Villanova University, right-handed pitcher. And Mohawk Valley wearing their customary black tops with the green and white trim and their white pants here tonight. Here's the windup and the pitch on the 1-2. Big swing and a miss. And there is strike three to Janeo Savoca for out number one. Savoca strikes out swinging, and that'll bring up Tyler Figueroa.
The center fielder, number 17 from Appalachian State, Tyler Figueroa.
So Tyler Figueroa now the batter for Glens Falls. Figueroa from Appalachian State, a right-handed batter here for the Dragons. Steps in, waits for the pitch. Here it is. And it's down the middle just outside for ball one. And the count now is 1-0 to Figueroa. Nobody on, one out here, top of the first. Wind blowing from left to right here in Little Falls at Veterans Memorial Park. Here's the windup again and the pitch, and that is fouled off by Figueroa into the stands here and down the first base line. I've never been here before. First base line has some tennis courts as well as some basketball courts. Always kids and maybe some adults playing there, so good place for a souvenir. If you're not here to watch the game, you can hang out in the tennis courts and grab yourself a souvenir. I'm pretty confident of that. That one misses for a ball. And the count now 2-1 to Figueroa. Followed by Figueroa, Nick Galileo on deck for Glens Falls. Here's the windup now and the pitch by Chavez. And that one is hit into center field. Center fielder backs up to make the catch. That is out in the center, Hart for the DiamondDawgs for out number two.
The first baseman, number 18 from Hofstra University, Nick Galileo.
So Nick Galileo, a right-handed batter here for Glens Falls, steps up to the plate with 2 outs. Galileo from Hofstra University. Again, right-handed batter, and he plays first base here for the Dragons. And that one misses just high for ball one. 1 ball, no strikes to Galileo. And Chavez sets, winds, and delivers, and that is fouled off. Again, first base line. And as I said, that's where a lot of our foul balls, or souvenirs you can say, go into the tennis courts here at Vets Memorial Park. And I always say, if you're looking for a souvenir, that's the place to be. Here's the windup and the pitch. Big swing and a miss by Galileo. And the count now, quickly, 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on here, top of the first. It is Sunday night baseball from Little Falls here. As a Early start, 5:05 here on Sundays. Here's the windup and the pitch. And curveball, swing and a miss for strike three. 1-2-3 inning for Jack Chavez as we head to the bottom of the first inning. No score here in Little Falls. Back after this quick commercial break.
We know pools. Garrity Pools and Spa are the experts in building and creating backyard memories for thousands of families. Garrity takes pride in offering only the highest quality in-ground Pacific pool and radiant above-ground pools that are built for upstate New York weather. Garrity offers only the best with BioGuard chemicals to keep your pool sparkling clean. Visit the professionals at Garrity Pools and Spa, 234 South Caroline Street, Herkimer, or GarrityPools.com.
Wake up and smell the sizzle at your local Burger King. Burger King is open for breakfast 7 days a week. Your mornings deserve the royal treatment. So dive in to try our delicious breakfast sandwiches, savor our savory hash browns, and wash it all down with a hot or iced coffee. Whether it's Monday or Sunday, we've got your breakfast cravings covered. Swing by BK today to have it your way. You rule at participating U.S. restaurants during breakfast hours.
Hey fans, tell the world you are here at Veterans Memorial Park watching your Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs. Share your experiences, connect with other fans, and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite team. For more information, visit mvdiamonddogs.com or like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
And welcome back, fans. We are just about ready to get started for the bottom of the first inning here from Vets Park in Little Falls. You're listening to Perfect Game Collegiate League Baseball. It is the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs against the Glens Falls Dragons. And leading off for the DiamondDawgs tonight will be John Calabrese, Edwin Sanchez, and Joey Calabretti here in the bottom of the first inning.
From Bucknell College, Bucknell University, John Calabrese.
So John Calabrese, a left-handed batter for the Dogs, will start things off here against R.J. Ensel. Ensel, a right-handed pitcher for Glens Falls. He looks in, and he's set to go, and he's going to wind and deliver on the first pitch here to Calabrese. And that's down low. 4-1 in the count now, 1-0 to John Calabrese. Calabrese from Bucknell University. He is tonight's starting left fielder for the Dogs. Here's pitch number 2 from R.J. Ensel. And a little chopper to the shortstop who makes the grab, throws over to first. And there is out number 1. That was Savoca to Galileo for out number 1.
Number 28 from Siena College, Edwin Sanchez.
So Edwin Sanchez now the batter from Siena College, right down the road in Albany area, Loudonville to be exact. And Edwin Sanchez is number 28. He's a right fielder. He's a right-handed batter for the Dogs. Takes the first pitch outside the Sanchez, and the count is 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes to Sanchez. Here's the windup and the delivery. And that one is popped up by Sanchez into foul territory, and the count now 1-1. So fans, thank you for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast feed brought to you by Creative Outpost. All the interns here and Dave Warner, who makes it happen. Makes it easy for us here in the booth to broadcast the games to you so you can watch them all over the country and follow your sons, grandsons, nephews, whoever they may be, friends. Make sure if you're on the Facebook feed, let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're listening. Give us a shout-out. Say hello. We'll try to give you a shout-out on the air sometime throughout the game. If we don't do it this game, I promise you we'll get you out there at some point as we look at our Facebook feed and our followers throughout the game. So thank you for listening to all the fans. That one's fouled off, and the count now is 2-2 to Edwin Sanchez. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here is the pitch from Ensel. Ball is hit on the ground to the shortstop. Scoops it up after he bobbles it for a second. Throws over to first. And they get him. That was the shortstop, Sweeney, over to Galileo for out number 2.
From Seton Hall, Joey Calabretti.
So Joey Calabretti now the batter for the Dogs. He is the shortstop. So Calabretti, a right-handed batter for the Dogs. I'm sorry, runner at first base was safe. My apologies. He's at first base. That is Edwin Sanchez. So 1 out. So Calabretti takes the first pitch for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Calabretti. Here's the windup now in the pitch from R.J. Ensel. And he's going to throw back to first base as Sanchez quickly gets back. A 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the windup now in the pitch, and that one is popped up. And the second baseman's going to head on over and make the grab. That is Savoca for out number 2. So I pop out to the second base area, actually behind first base, for out number 2. So Justin Hurd now the batter for Mohawk Valley. So back to first base goes the throw as R.J. Ensel makes the throw over. That is Edwin Sanchez at first base, reached safely on a very close play at first base. And here comes the windup and now the pitch to Justin Hurd. And that is called a strike. So strike 1 to Justin Hurd from the University of Albany. Going to college right down the road here in Albany. Hurd is the second baseman here tonight for Mohawk Valley. Hurd, a right-handed batter, awaits the pitch from R.J. Ensel. And that is fouled off by Hurd down the first base line into the tennis courts again. And the foul ball brings us to a count of 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Justin Hurd. Ian Oschlager on deck for the Dogs. Here's the 0-2 pitch now, the windup. And taking his time is Ensel. And the pitch. And that one just a bit high. And they count now 1-2. So 1 balls and 2 strikes to Justin Hurd, tonight's second baseman for the Dogs. So Hurd is set. He waits R.J. Ensel's pitch. Ensel is set. Looks at his runner at first base quickly. And takes a little glance and now delivers the pitch. And there's a swing and a miss by Justin Hurd. He strikes out. And that'll do it for the inning. So this time 4 up and 3 down. And that'll end it for the inning for Mohawk Valley. We remain scoreless here in the top. After the first, we head to the top of the second after this.
At GPO, we understand every member's journey is unique. That's why our employees take the time to listen, understand, and deliver personalized solutions that fit your life. From budgeting to borrowing, we're with you every step of the way. Your journey, our commitment. GPO Federal Credit Union, committed to excellence.
And fans, welcome back. We're here for the start of the second inning. We're going to start shortly, but before that, let's go back to the replay on that close play at first base. All right, so you see the replay here. Here's the throw, and you see that ball is hit and picks it up, throws over, and a real close play at first base. And the beauty of replay shows you from here in the booth. I looked like to me he was out. I made the judgment call and called him out, and then I saw him lingering at first base. I'm like, what's that guy doing over there? And sure enough, after looking at that replay, we saw how close it was. So thanks to our intern for showing us the replay. A lot of good work here for our interns who work for the Creative Outpost, and they come back in the summer, help out, and they're they're able to give us Diamond Dogs baseball here in the Mohawk Valley. We appreciate them coming back and being part of our Dogs team. So as we start here at the top of the second, Cody Meyer will lead things off for the Glens Falls Dragons. And Meyer is the right fielder. Here's the pitch. And a big swing and a miss by Meyer for strike one from Jack Chavez. Nice little breeze here, blowing here in the Little Falls from left to right. And keeping us nice and cool before we head into those hot July and August months. We hope at least, because we've had enough rain through May. So we certainly had our share of that. We're done with that, and we're hoping that June, July, and August is going to be hot, humid, and baseball, right? So 0-2, we can not have the humidness, but we'll nice weather is definitely what we're hoping for, as the rain has caused havoc on baseball seasons throughout the Mohawk Valley. I can tell you from my perspective for sure, because with a 2-1 count, we've been coaching some baseball myself, and been doing the modified level, and we've had so many rainouts. It's been crazy. Try to get a couple of double headers in, but we've finally got the season in, and there is strike two. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. I know the high school teams have also had problems getting games in, but that's how it is in Central New York. We know that baseball season technically starts in May, but with a month about to play that baseball, because of the way the baseball season runs and the school season, you usually have about a month to get those games in. And there's a swing and a miss for out number 1 to Meyer. And somehow, every year, we seem to manage to get those games in. I don't know how, but it gets done. So Joe Carpier now the batter for Glens Falls. I want to give a shout out to the Oriskany baseball team, who won sectionals last night. They came through in a parade that I got behind, actually. I was coming off the thruway and saw the fire trucks, and I live in Westmoreland, so we live on Cider Street, separates Oriskany from Westmoreland. It's also often called the Cider Street Battle. And the boys from Oriskany winning a title last night, so they got escorted home with a fire truck escort, and they're going to play on Friday and Saturday, hopefully, for a state title. So 2 balls and no strikes, so congratulations to those boys in Oriskany. I know they work real hard at all levels. We play them in modified, and they have a really good squad in the modified level. The Little League teams are well coached, which basically tells you why these guys are playing for sectional titles year in and year out. All right, that one's fouled off down the third base line from Carpies. We'll get that name right. Karwaki is somebody who I worked with a long time ago. Give him a little credit, right? So 2 balls and 1 strike now. Here comes the windup and the pitch from Jack Chavez from Mohawk Valley. And a big swing and a miss. And that is strike 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Joe Carpies. And he will step back in the box now to face Jack Chavez. Here's the windup and the pitch from Chavez. And here it comes. Inside corner, just outside. And the count now full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, 3-2 now on the count. Back into the box steps Carpies. A full count coming his way. Here comes the windup and the pitch by Jack Chavez. And the pitch, and that one misses inside for ball 4. So he will take his base, puts a runner on first base as Enrique Diaz, now the batter for the Dragons. So Enrique Diaz from Dyersburg State University, the extra hitter for Glens Falls, is a right-handed batter, has a runner on first base. With 1 out, no score here in the top of the second. And a little dribbler, and it gets by the shortstop. And that's a base hit for Diaz. That's the first hit of the game for the Dragons.
For the Dragons, the left fielder number 20 from Hofstra University, Aiden Gallagher.
So Aiden Gallagher now the batter. That ball got right past Calabretti as he dove out for it, but just a little out of his reach. And that allowed Diaz to safely get the first base. And now runners on first and second for the Dragons here. And here comes the windup and the pitch to Gallagher. And that one curves in down low, missing for ball one. So 1 ball, no strikes now to Gallagher. Gallagher, the left fielder from Hofstra University, right-handed batter for Glens Falls. Wind up and the pitch now from Chavez. He looks at the runner at second base before he delivers, and here's the pitch. And it's high and inside for ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes, and with that, the catcher for Mohawk Valley, Mayer, is going to head out to talk to his pitcher. So Matt Mayer from SUNY Brockport heads out to have a chat with Jack Chavez from Villanova University with a 2-0 count, runners on first and second here in the Little Falls, New York. Fans, if you've never been to Vets Memorial Park in Little Falls, if you're in the area, if you're nearby, driving distance, train, plane, automobile, maybe even by boat, make your way down here and check out a game here at Little Falls. A great field, beautiful field. I always say one of the hidden gems here, a hidden gem amongst the valley. So come check us out. You got to put that on your bucket list if you're a baseball fan and check it off as a field that you visited in your trek. That one's fouled off on the first base line by Gallagher, and the count now is 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike as Gallagher steps on the box, comes back in. Gallagher wearing a blue batting helmet. I imagine that's from his days playing at Hofstra University. The Hofstra Pride out in Long Island area. And here's the windup now and the pitch coming to Gallagher. Pitch is down low, and the count now 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike to Gallagher. 1 out, runners on first and second here for the Glens Falls Dragons. Glens Falls 1-4 on the year in the Eastern Division here, as Mohawk Valley 3-3. As we have jumped into this season, and we are now into June. And there's a swing and a miss, and they throw over to first on a close play. And safe at first base is the runner. And just like that, we have a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. So as I said, we're in June. And as you know, if you watch the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League and these collegiate wood bat leagues, these seasons go by fast. Start usually in June. This year we started a couple of days at the end of May. So June, July, and then the first week of August we're into playoffs. So we always say you really got to get rolling sometime in July to make sure you're in the midst of things so that when the playoff seedings start to unfold, you're right there in the mix. So there's ball 4, and now bases loaded here for Glens Falls. So Cameron Biller from Mount St. Mary University, he is the DH tonight for the Dragons, a right-handed batter with bases loaded and 1 out as the Dragons look to get on the board here early and first here from Glens Falls, but not if Jack Chavez has something to say about that. With 1 out, here's the windup and the pitch. And that is down low from Chavez for a 1-0 count. So 1 ball, no strikes to Cameron Biller. Joe Haynes, the catcher, on deck for the Dragons. Chavez now looks at that runner at second base. Bases loaded. Here's the windup and the pitch. Curveball misses down low, and the count now is 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. And with that, we're going to have a mound visit from our coach. And we'll take a quick commercial break and be back after this.
Some people might think that the tire shop in Canajoharie only does tires. Nah, that's only their name. The tire shop does so much more. Oil changes, custom wheels, interstate batteries, computer wheel balancing, tire repair service and recapping, auto accessories, tire chains, ag bags, bale and net wrap, and much more. And when it comes to tires, the tire shop in Canajoharie also does so much more. Lawn and garden tires, off the road, backhoe, loader tires, log skidder, agricultural, ATV and UTV tires, and on the farm tire services. The tire shop is a multi-line new tire dealer. That means they're quite a choice for top brand name tires for your car, truck, SUV, semi-tractor, and trailer, all at great prices. They're also a Goodyear national accounts and state contract pricing location. Financing available too. Find more information and a list of services at thetireshop.biz. Thetireshop.biz. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. Yes, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Tire Shop, 155 Erie Boulevard in Canajoharie.
And we're back, folks. And While we were gone hearing from the tire shop in Canada, Jerry, we had a pitch, and the count now is 3-0. So 3 balls and no strikes now. Here's the windup and the pitch. And there's a strike down the middle to Cameron Biller. The count now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Bases are loaded here for the Dragons in the top of the second inning. And Jack Chavez is trying to get out of his jam here. Here's the 3-1 pitch coming from Chavez, the pitch, and a little chopper to the shortstop. Actually, the third baseman's going to scoop it up, go across. A run will score. So they get the lead runner at first base. So a sacrifice for, let's see here. Make sure I get this right, for Biller.
The catcher, number 7 from Catholic University, Joe Haynes.
So Biller reaches on a fielder's choice. Joe Haynes, and now the batter, 1-0 is the score. As the runner did score on that play, as the third baseman, Coco, made the play for Mohawk Valley, threw over to first base, got the lead runner, and now with 2 outs, runners on second and third, 1-0 here. Dragons in the top of the second inning. There was a strike to the catcher, Joe Haynes from Catholic University, and the count 0-1. Here's the windup, the pitch, and behind his head in the count now, 1-1. So 1-1 the count after that one goes behind Haynes, not swinging for that thing. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joe Haynes, the catcher. On deck for Glens Falls is the shortstop, Michael Sweeney. But before that, they got to get through Haynes here with 2 outs. And that one hits him. And that will load the bases again for the Dragons. So a hit by pitch for Joe Haynes. And now Michael Sweeney, the shortstop, will give his chances here against Jack Chavez. So Chavez with 2 outs, runners on each of the bags here. 1-0 the score. Looking to get out of this is Chavez with minimal damage. 2 outs. He looks at the runner at second, does Chavez. Now he'll wind and deliver to Sweeney. And down the middle, called strike 1. And they count no balls and 1 strike. 2 outs. Good crowd here on hand at Vets Memorial Park with this Sunday matinee. 5:05 start. Good way to spend a Sunday afternoon watching some Dawgs baseball. That's in the dirt. Stopped by the catcher, Mayer. And the count now 1-1. A 1 ball, 1 strike to Hofstra's Michael Sweeney, playing his summer ball here for Glens Falls, the Glens Falls Dragons. 1-1 count. Chavez looks in. He's going to look over his shoulder at the runner at second base before he kicks, winds, and delivers. And that ball hit into left field, and that's good for a base hit. It's going to score 1. And the score now 2-0. As that ball is thrown into the cutoff man. Not deep enough to score 2. So 1 run scores now the score 2-0 after the single from Michael Sweeney. So Janeo Sovoka now. And 2-0 is the score. So a 2-0 lead here for Glens Falls. Sovoka, who struck out last at bat. A left-handed batter is Sovoka with runners on each of the base pads here for Glens Falls. Here's the windup and the pitch. Outside, called a strike as it paints the outside corner of the plate. And the count 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike from Janeo Sovoka. Sovoka steps into the box as he gets ready to face Jack Chavez for the DiamondDawgs. Chavez looks at the runners, kicks, winds, and delivers. Swing and a miss. And the count quickly 0-2. So with 2 outs, 2-0 the score. At 0-2 count here to Janeo Sovoka as Chavez looks to get out of this inning with just 2 runs on the board here, as bases have been loaded multiple times here in this inning. 0-2 the count. Chavez is going to kick, wind, and deliver outside for ball 1, and the count 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-0 lead here for the Dragons. Glens Falls 1-4 on the season. looking for win number 2. Meanwhile, Mohawk Valley looking to go above 500 as they're 3-3 on the season. Here comes the windup on the 1-2 pitch. Outside for ball 2. And that will even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. So deuces wild here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 runs, with Glens Falls leading 2-0 here in the top of the second. So 2's all over the board momentarily. 2 hits as well. So here's the windup and the pitch. Outside for ball 3, a full count now to Savoca. Savoca batting the top of the lineup here for Glens Falls. And he's looking to get to batter number 2 with bases loaded. 3-2 count. Here's the big windup now and the pitch from Mohawk Valley's Jack Chavez. That one's popped foul down the third base line. And that is out of play. And the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. That goes over to the third base side by our family tent area. Nice little tent out for some family picnic fun. You're looking for a birthday party or an executive party, a meeting. This is your place to bring that team out. And you can enjoy yourselves with some baseball, some business, or just a birthday party. So 3-2 the count. You just can get a hold of our owner, Travis Heiser. His email address on our website at mvdiamonddogs.com. And there is ball 4. He will walk, and the third run will walk in. And the score now is 3-0 Glens Falls. So Tyler Figueroa now the batter for Glens Falls. As Mohawk Valley in a little bit of a jam here, with bases loaded, 2 outs, down 3-0 here in the top of the second. Obviously, it's still early in this ball game, but want to contain the runs here in the top of the second. As Jack Chavez looks to settle down here, and here's the pitch. And that ball is hit hard to the third baseman. He scoops it up, goes across the diamond, and that'll do it for the inning. So it is Coco over to Hawk for out number 3, but not before a 3-run score here in the top of the second inning for Glens Falls, and they lead 3-0. We'll be back after commercial break.
Spring into action and get started on your home projects with Little Falls Lumber. Get your free estimate today for that project, big or small. Little Falls Lumber. They're always happy to help.
Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations and speak to one of our knowledgeable salesmen about your next project.
Hey fans, tell the world you are here at Veterans Memorial Park watching your Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs. Share your experiences, connect with other fans, and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite team. For more information, visit mvdiamonddogs.com or like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
And welcome back, fans. Ready for the start of the bottom of the second. But before that, some shout-outs to some of our fans listening in. Special shout-out to Kathy in Little Falls who's listening. Thank you, Kathy. Also, Tommy Campione, our former groundskeeper. He was now out in the major leagues. Yes, fans, we have a major leaguer doing the grounds out in Tampa Bay for the Rays. So congratulations to Tommy. He's sending love and prayers to everybody, and especially Lou and his family. Also, the Barbiers listening. We love the Barbiers when they played here. So thank you for tuning in. And as always, Joanne Miller, who's always positive, cheering our dogs on. So thank you, Joanne, for listening to the Dogs. So we are back. Bottom of the second inning. The Dogs are down 3-0. And our favorite name, Ian Oschlager. That's a great name for an announcer. So I've been practicing that name. Hopefully I get it right. I'm sure I'll mess it up a couple times, so apologies if I do. A lot of the teammates here call him O. So I should probably go with that pronunciation myself, but we'll try to pronounce it right once in a while. The count 0-1. Second pitch is a ball, and the count 1-1. So Oschlager from RPI. He is a right-handed batter. He's facing RJ Ensler. Here's the pitch, and that ball is hit into left field. It's going to drop in front of the left fielder for a base hit for Oschlager. And just like that, the Dogs are on here in the bottom of the second.
From St. Thomas Aquinas University, Brandon Hawk.
So Oschlager with the single to start things off here in the bottom of the second for the Dogs. And that'll bring up Brandon Hawk. Hawk from St. Thomas Aquinas University, a right-handed batter for the Dogs. He is the first baseman tonight for Mohawk Valley. And he is ready to go. And here's Ensler with a pitch. That one in the dirt, gets away from the catcher. He can't find it, and that's going to allow Oschlager to get the second base as the catcher for the Dragons, Haynes, was looking for it. It took a bad bounce near his feet and bounced behind him, and it allowed Oschlager to make his way to second base, and the count now 1-0, nobody out, as Brendan Hawk is the batter for Mohawk Valley with a 1-0 count. Here's Ensler now with the windup and the pitch. He looks at that runner at second, and now he delivers, and that one misses outside, and the catcher Haynes is going to go out to talk to his pitcher RJ Ensel with 2 balls and 2 strikes. So a quick chat between teammates, and Haynes will make his way back as Ensel back on the mound and ready to go. So Ensel is set, and he's just waiting for Hawk to get back into the box. Hawk in the box with a 2-0 count. Oschlager at second base taking a short lead. Dogs down 3-0. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. There's the windup and pitch by Ensler. Outside in the dirt, stopped by the catcher. And the count now jumps to 3-0 to Hawk. So Matt Mayer, the catcher, on deck for Mohawk Valley after Hawk. Nobody out. 3-0 count. Here comes Ensler with the pitch. He's taking a long look at that runner at second base before he delivers, and he misses with ball 4, and that'll put a runner on first and second. So Hawk now at first base, Oschlager at second. So Matt Mayer now the batter for Mohawk Valley. Mayer will come to the plate with nobody out. Mayer, your batter here for Mohawk Valley. Runners on first and second. Ensler gets ready to pitch. He's going to kick, wind, and deliver. And that one gets past the catcher, and all will advance. So runners now at second and third with the pass ball. So Matt Mayer has an opportunity here now with nobody out. And runners in scoring position. 1 ball, no strikes to Mayer. Here comes the 1-0 pitch now for Ensler. He's going to take his time, winds and delivers right down the center of the plate for a call strike 1. That will even the count now at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strikes to Mayer. Emmett Coco on deck. He's the third baseman for Mohawk Valley. Runners on second and third. Nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, 3-0. Glens Falls leads. And that one missing for ball 2, and the count now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Runners on second and third, taking short leads, not being held on. 2-1 count. There's the windup and the pitch by Ensler. And that is popped up into foul territory down the first base line, out of play, and the count 2-2 to Matt Mayer. So Matt Mayer back into the box with a 2-2 count. Runners on second and third. Dogs looking to bounce back here and get on the board here in the bottom of the second and respond quickly after 3 runs were put on the board in the top of the second from Glens Falls. Here's the pitch. Ball is hit on the ground to the shortstop. He scoops it across, throws over to first base for out number 1, but a run does score. So Mayer with a fielder's choice And the score now 3-1 Dawgs. And Emmett Coco will now come to the plate.
4 from Wagner College, Emmett Coco.
So Emmett Coco, the third baseman from Warner College. That is a college we also often say that Dave Warner created. He is our production guy here at Creative Outpost. That one misses for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes to Coco. Runner on third base with 1 out. 3-1, Dawgs down. And the pitch outside misses for ball 2 in the count, 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes with 1 out to Emmett Coco. 2-0 pitch now coming from R.J. Ensler. Again, runner on third base. Tying run at the plate here for the Dawgs. Here's the pitch. And there is strike 1 down the middle of the plate, just a little to the outside corner. But Payne's just enough that corner to get called strike. 2-1 now the count. So 2 balls, 1 strike. R.J. Ensler ready to go. Coco ready. Here's the pitch. Outside this time. Same spot, a little bit more outside I thought. And that was a strike in the count now, 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out to Emmett Coco. R.J. Ensler ready to deliver on the 2-2 with 1 out. Runner on third. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss from Coco, and he strikes out for out number 2. Very disappointed is Coco as he swung and missed on that last pitch. So Caden Hart from Virginia Tech University, right-handed batter for the Dawgs. With 2 outs, he's looking to bring that runner home at third base. And he will do so with 2 outs. And here's the first pitch. To him is hit right at the umpire. He gets out of the way for a base hit as it got between the second and shortstop. And that scores a run, and now 3-2 is the score. So Caden Hart with a single, RBI single. And the score now 3-2. So we go back to the top of the lineup with John Calabrese. And Calabrese, a left-handed batter for the Dawgs. Here is the pitch now with 2 outs and a runner on first. There's a called strike outside corner to Calabrese. And the count 0-1. No balls and a strike, 2 outs. Ensler sets now. And winds and delivers. Runner takes off. And he heads back to first as the catcher jumped up. That was Haynes, ready to make the throw and gun him down at second base. And the runner decided, yeah, maybe I'll head back. And that's what he does. And so Hart back at first base before he ventured too far to second. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And there is ball 2 to Calabrese. And the count now is 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. With 2 outs, runner on first base. Dawgs down 3-2. They've responded quickly with 2 runs of their own here in the bottom half of the second inning. And Ensler throws back to first base as Hart easily gets back. And so 2-1 the count to Calabrese, who grounded out in his first at bat here this evening. Here's the pitch. And that one misses just a little high. And the count now 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to John Calabrese, the left fielder for the Dawgs. Looking to keep things alive here in the bottom of the second and tie this ball game up or take a lead. Here's Ensler now with the windup, the pitch, and that is fouled off by Calabrese this time down the third base line. And it's going to pop over the tent and over the fence area. So kids are going to have to work for that one if they're going to want that foul ball, as it went over the fence. So that means they got to do a little running around, a little work for that souvenir. But the kids here in Little Falls work hard for their souvenirs. They'll go to the craziest extents to find those foul balls. 3-2. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. That'll do it for the inning, but not before the Dawgs put up 2 runs. And they cut into this lead and now down 3-2 as we head to the top of the third.
At NBT Bank, we know that this day starts with this one. This day starts with this one. Because no matter how unforgettable the extraordinary days are, there's a lot of every day that leads up to them. You can count on NBT Bank to help you get started. NBT Bank, it starts here.
Some people might think that the tire shop in Canajoharie only does tires. Nah, that's only their name. The tire shop does so much more. Oil changes, custom wheels, interstate batteries, computer wheel balancing, tire repair service and recapping, auto accessories, tire chains, ag bags, bale and net wrap, and much more. And when it comes to tires, the tire shop in Canajoharie also does so much more. Lawn and garden tires, off the road, backhoe, loader tires, log skidder, agricultural, ATV and UTV tires, and on the farm tire services. The tire shop is a multi-line new tire dealer. That means they're quite a choice for top brand name tires for your car, truck, SUV, semi-tractor, and trailer, all at great prices. They're also a Goodyear national accounts and state contract pricing location. Financing available too. Find more information and a list of services at thetireshop.biz. Thetireshop.biz. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. Yes, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Tire Shop, 155 Erie Boulevard in Canajoharie.
And we're back, and Galileo pops out to the catcher for out number 1. And we are ready for the second batter of the inning here with 1 out. And that one misses for ball 1. So Galileo pops out for out number 1. And Cody Meyer with a 1-0 pitch out. 1-0 count, I'm sorry. Here's the 1-0. And that one's called strike 1, and the count 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Meyer. Top of the third here, 3-2 the score. Glens Falls ahead. Jack Chavez, the pitcher here from Mohawk Valley. And here comes the windup and the pitch by Chavez. That pushes him off. That one was high and inside. Ball 2. So 2 balls and 1 strike. As Meyer steps out of the box momentarily, now he's ready to go. Chavez looks on and winds and delivers, and that is popped up into center field. Center fielder making his way over, calls off the right fielder for the catch, and that is out number 2. That was Hart in center field. As that ball was between Hart and Sanchez, and Hart called it off and made the catch. So Joe Carpier now the batter. Carpier, a right-handed batter for Glens Falls. Last time up, he took a walk to first base. And let's see what happens here in the top of the third with nobody on and 2 outs here for Glens Falls. Here's the windup and pitch to Carpier. And that one misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Joe Carpier. He's from Xavier University. Fun to see all the different schools that come through here in the Mohawk Valley. Looks like we got a bird in the infield. And the pitch, swing and a miss. And there is 1-1. So that bird that is in the infield, he is in front of the, let's say, the shortstop. A great seat, probably one of the best seats in the house here. I hope he paid for admission, because if not, we will find a way to charge him, because, you know, you can't just place yourself in the middle of the infield. And that one's popped up again to center field, and the center fielder calling off Sanchez, makes the catch. Out there does Hart, and that'll do it for the inning. So we head to the bottom of the third, 3-2. The score remains. Dogs looking to tie this things up in the bottom of the third.
Visit the Daily Post and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the Mohawk Valley. Our mission is to generate interest in the area and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our podcast, or sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Stop by today at thedailypost.digital. You'll be glad you did.
And we are back. Kids are running on the field, but before that, let's go to a replay of that second out in center field. And it's on your screen now. We'll see how that ball was lifted into center field. And you will see Hart calling off the right fielder to make the grab, and that will do it for that inning. So another great replay here from Creative Outpost. So we try to bring you all the action here in Little Falls. And again, thank you to all our interns who are working hard to bring you all the action shots throughout the game. So for the Dogs, leading off here in the bottom of the third will be Edwin Sanchez. So Edwin Sanchez, who hit a single in his last at bat, is back at it, and he sends one right back here into our camera area. And you probably saw the laces on that bad boy. As you know, we always say we have this fence here that is supposed to protect us, and we have about 20% assurance that that thing's not going to go through one of the holes. I'll share a funny story about our former broadcaster, Lou. Here's the pitch, and that one is hit to left field, and it's going to drop in front of the left fielder for a base hit for a second single of the ball game for Edwin Sanchez. And just like that, a runner on first base. Joey Calabretti. So Joey Calabretti, now the batter. As I was saying, our late Lou Parada would always say, you know what, I know those chain link fences are supposed to hold back that ball, but somehow, some way, one of these days that ball's going to get in here and knock one of us out. And we're confident it's going to happen one of these days. We're not sure which one of us is going to be, but it'll happen. And that one is hit to left field. Another single for Calabretti. So runners on first and second to start things off.
The second baseman, number 27, from SUNY Albany, Justin Hurd.
So Justin Hurd now the batter. So runners on first and second here for the Dogs in the bottom of the third inning, as Hurd struck out in his last at bat, looking to do something here with nobody out, and the Dogs on first and second. Let's see what Hurd's got here against R.J. Ensler. Ensler winds, delivers, shows bunt, puts it down right in front of home plate. Ensler picks it up, throws over to first, and Hurd advances the runners to scoring position. So he does what he was asked to do. And so a sacrifice bunt by Hurd will bring up Ian Oschlager. So Ian Oschlager now the batter with one out, runners in scoring position. And they are going to walk him. So an intentional walk. And Oschlager at first base now.
Number 23 from St. Thomas Aquinas, Brandon Hawk.
So they're going to take their chances with Brandon Hawk. They didn't want to pitch to Oschlager as he's had a hot bat to start the season here. Last At bat, he singled. And so here is the right-hander Brendan Hawk with 1 out. Runners all over the base pad. No place to put him here with bases loaded. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. 4-1 to Hawk. So Dawgs looking to tie it up and do more here, as they got a lot of dogs to spare here on the base pads. 1-0 count. Ensler now sets. Winds and delivers. And that ball hit right to the third baseman. Makes the grab. He touches third base, and they get the double play. And that's exactly what they were hoping for, and it worked out to perfection for Glens Falls as Hawk hit it right to third base. Third baseman caught it, stepped on the bag, and that does it for the inning. So they leave the runner straighted, and we'll be back top of the fourth after this.
If you are looking for some shopping and dining, head on over to Canal Place, where you will find quaint shops, galleries, restaurants, and inns situated in the old mill buildings and storefronts along the waterfront of Canal Place. They've become known as the happening place for the arts in the Mohawk Valley. Not so long ago, many of these buildings were working mills serving the garment industry. Even today, after conversion to serve as retail space, many of these rugged but lovely structures speak to our great regional manufacturing heritage. If you're looking for fine arts, entertainment, or antiques, you simply must pay a visit to Canal Place.
Wake up and smell the sizzle at your local Burger King. Burger King is open for breakfast 7 days a week. Your mornings deserve the royal treatment. So dive in to try our delicious breakfast sandwiches, savor our savory hash browns, and wash it all down with a hot or iced coffee. Whether it's Monday or Sunday, we've got your breakfast cravings covered. Swing by BK today to have it your way. You rule at participating U.S. restaurants during breakfast hours.
And we are back. As you saw, our Frisbee Challenge was in full effect. Kids love the contest here in Little Falls, and we love putting those contests on.
From Fairfield University, number 16, Brendan Miller.
And we have a pitching change here for Mohawk Valley. Coming in from Fairfield University is number 16, Brendan Miller. So Brendan Miller now the new pitcher for Mohawk Valley on the mound, number 16. And we'll see what Brendan Miller could do here with the Dogs down just 3-2 here in the top of the fourth. I'm sorry.
Dyersburg State University, Enrique Diaz.
So Enrique Diaz now will face Miller. And first pitch misses. 4-1 to Enrique Miller. I'm sorry, Enrique Diaz. Diaz with a single in his last at bat. Here's the windup and pitch by Miller. Miller, a left-handed pitcher. So 1-1 strike to the righty here at the plate in Diaz. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss. And there is strike 2 in the count now, 1-2 to the extra hitter, Enrique Diaz. Diaz wearing number 4 here for the Dragons. And facing a 1-2 pitch, here comes Miller. The windup, big leg kick, and swing and a miss. And he strikes out for out number 1 here in the top of the fourth.
Now batting for the Dragons, the left fielder, number 20 from Hofstra University, Aiden Gallagher.
So Aiden Gallagher, now the batter here for the Dragons here in the top of the fourth inning. 1 out, nobody on. And Brendan Miller is set and ready to go. High leg kick by Miller. He's tall and long. Here's the pitch. And there's a strike. And the count now is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Aiden Gallagher. Here's the windup, the pitch. And that ball hit hard to the shortstop. Scoops it. Throws over to first for out number 2. So a ground out by Gallagher to the shortstop for the second out of the inning. And that was Calabrese over to Hawk for out number 2. So Caden Biller now, the designated hitter, will come to the plate. He reached on a fielder's choice in his last at bat for Glens Falls. 2 outs, and he is ready to face Brendan Miller here. And big swing and a miss, strike 1. So no balls in 1 strike, 2 outs. Miller looks in, shakes one off. It looks like he likes what he's got now. And he will kick, wind, and deliver on the 0-1. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 2. So no balls and 2 strikes now to Biller. So it is Miller to Biller. Let's see who gets the win here. So Miller delivers. Biller waits. And that misses for ball 1. So 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs. Nobody on top for Glens Falls Dragons winning 3-2. 1-2 pitch coming from Miller. Miller looks on. Here's the pitch. And he pops that up deep into left field. Left fielder's there. Makes the grab. That is Calabrese in left field for out number 3. And that'll do it for the top of the 4th. Score remains 3-2 Glens Falls. Back after this, folks.
Little Falls, New York combines the charms of a small town with the conveniences of a much larger city. Of course, you'd expect to find welcoming people, beautiful scenery, family-friendly activities, and plenty to do outdoors. But you might be surprised to find that Little Falls, New York also has an espresso bar, gem shop, art center, French restaurant, antique centers, local hospital, and extensive civic services and amenities. Not to mention homes both beautiful and affordable, nestled in a dramatic natural setting amongst steep hills that descend to the Mohawk River and Erie Canal. Little Falls, New York. It's a great place to spend a few days or a lifetime.
And we are back for bottom of the 4th action here. Perfect game, Collegiate League Baseball. Glens Falls Dragons against the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs. This action being brought to you by Creative Outpost. And the first pitch is a ball. And that is to Matt Mayer, the catcher. So 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 pitch. And the windup now, and the pitch coming from Ensler. And there's a strike. Count 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mayer. Mayer, the fielder's choice in his last at bat here tonight. 1-1 pitch. Here it comes. And right down the center of the plate. And they count now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Matt Mayer. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming from Ensler. Wind delivers. And that's fouled off. And the count 1-2. That one heads into our dugout. Players ready to make the play. Whether it's on the field or in the dugout or in the community, our dog players always prepared. 1-2. Here's Ensler now with the windup, the pitch. And that is left high for ball 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt Mayer, Emmett Coco, and Caden Hart all due up here in this inning for the Dogs. We are in the bottom of the 4th. Dogs are down 3-2. Here's Ensler down with the windup and the pitch. And swing and a miss for strike 3. And down goes Mayer for out number 1.
Now batting for your Dogs, the third baseman, number 4 from Wagner College, Emmett Coco.
So Emmett Coco now the batter for the Dogs. Coco has struck out in his first try tonight, and he is the third baseman for Mohawk Valley. A left-handed batter is Coco. Here's the windup and the pitch, and that one paints the outside corner for a called strike. The count 0-1 to Coco. Here's Ensler. Wind delivers, and that's fouled off by Coco down the third base line. And the count quickly 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. There's the 0-2. And that one hit to the shortstop. He scoops it, throws across, and that is out number 2. So Coco with a ground out to the shortstop, Sweeney, for out number 2. So Caden Hart, who singled on his last at bat, now will come to the plate for Mohawk Valley. Another right-handed batter for the Dogs, ready to face the pitcher here in R.J. Ensel. Ensel winds, delivers with 2 outs, and does so outside for ball 1. So 1-0 now the count to Hart. 1-0 with the pitch. Swing and a miss from Hart. The count now even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Oh, with 2 outs, we have a 1-1 count here to Hart. Here's the pitch. And Hart swings and misses, and the count now is 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Hart. Ensel now will wind and deliver. And takes his time with the delivery, and that one is hit deep to left center field. It is at the mercy of the left fielder, who makes the grab and ends the inning on a nice play out in left field by Gallagher to end the inning. Just like that, inning is over. Score remains 3-2 as we head to the top of the 5th.
Visit the Daily Post and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the Mohawk Valley. Our mission is to generate interest in the area and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our podcast, or sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Stop by today at thedailypost.digital. You'll be glad you did.
And we are back in. Fans just had a celebration with the YMCA as they got down with some music here in Little Falls. Good time all the time here in Little Falls. And Haynes is now the batter, and he fouls one off for Glens Falls. Top of the 5th inning. Pitcher on the mound for Mohawk Valley now is Brendan Miller. Came in the last inning. And he is facing the catcher, Joe Haynes, who's got an 0-1 count after that pitch was fouled off. That one misses, and the count now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. A 1-1. There's a windup now in the pitch to Haynes from Miller. Inside, called strike. And the count 1-2. Nice pitch inside there by Miller as it catches the inside corner of the plate. And the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It'll be Haynes, Sweeney, and Savoca due up in this inning here. Here's the pitch. And that one fouled off down the third base line. And that puts us at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Haynes hit by a pitch in his last at bat here tonight, and he awaits the 1-2 pitch here from Miller. Miller sets, winds, and delivers, and high and inside. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and there's a swing and a miss, and he's going to run over to the base for out number 1. So a swing and a miss for Haynes. So he strikes out. And 1 out. So that'll bring up Michael Sweeney.
Now batting the shortstop, number 9 from Hofstra University, Michael Sweeney.
So Michael Sweeney now the batter. And first pitch to Sweeney, called a strike. So some more shout-outs on the way. How about for Nick, John Wright, cheering on for the Dragons. Thanks for tuning in, John. We appreciate all our fans, whether you're cheering for the other team or Mohawk Valley. So good luck to your Dragons this season. Also, my partner in crime, Rocky Curigliano. If you ever had a chance to listen to Rock's podcast, make sure you tune into his podcast, The Rock Pile. You can go on to his website or his webpage or his Facebook page and find all the sites. So good times by all. So thank you everyone for listening in. We appreciate it. We hope you're enjoying this game. Good game thus far, 3-2. Glens Falls ahead here in the top of the 5th. And 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that one missing for ball 2, and they count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. We get another ball come right back at us here tonight. It's 2 for 2, so we're safe both times. So far, we're in good shape here in the booth. So thanks to our chain link fence. And there is ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Michael Sweeney. Sweeney singled in his first at bat here tonight. 1 out, nobody on here in the top of the 5th. 3-2. Glens Falls ahead. Here's the 3-2 pitch now coming from Miller. He's going to kick, wind, and deliver on the 3-2. Swing and miss for strike 3 and out number 2. So we'll go back to the top of the lineup with Janeo Savoca. So Savoca, a left-handed batter for the Dragons from the College of Charleston. A strikeout and a walk here this evening for Savoca. And with 2 outs, he's going to come to the plate here for Glens Falls with nobody on. So Miller looks in. And he will wind and deliver, comes across for strike 1 in the count. 0-1 to Savoca. So no balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here. Top of the 5th inning, 3-2 Glens Falls. As Brendan Miller, the pitcher for Mohawk Valley, delivers the pitch to Janeo Savoca. And that is ball 1. So the count now 1-1. A ball on the strike. Nobody on the base pads here for the Dragons on a nice, warm, pleasant day here in Little Falls. It is June, which means it is time for baseball fans. Swing and a miss for strike. I thought that was strike 3. But that was strike 2, so we'll give him one more try. We are the kind bunch here in Mohawk Valley. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1-2 with 2 outs. Savoca ready. Miller ready. Here's the pitch. And that is outside in the dirt for ball 2. And Deuces wild here. 2 balls and 2 strikes and 2 outs. And we were playing baseball this spring in modified. Our thing was when we had 2, 2, and 2, we would rub our hats. That was our lucky charm. 2-2. And there is strike 3. I guess that worked here too. So he will strike out Savoca to end the inning. The score remains 3-2. We head to the top of the 5th. Glens Falls ahead.
At NBT Bank, we know that this day starts with this one. This day starts with this one. Because no matter how unforgettable the extraordinary days are, there's a lot of every day that leads up to them. You can count on NBT Bank to help you get started. NBT Bank, it starts here.
Welcome back, fans. John Calabrese leading things off here for the DiamondDawgs in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 3-2 the score remains. Glens Falls still leading here. The visiting team looking to grab a win and go home. They are 1-4 on the season, so looking for their second win, while the Dogs looking to get win number 4 and go above 500. They are 3-3 on the season. Again, still early. We always say you got to get the ball rolling by July. That's when things heat up in the PGCBL. You got to be in the mix right around July as you make that final playoff push, and anything can happen once you get to July. 1-1 the count, and that one misses for ball 2. So make sure, fans, if you're in the area or even if you're planning to visit, check out the DiamondDawgs schedule on our Facebook page or on our website. A lot of games on the weekends this year, Thursday, Friday, Saturday games. So make sure you check out the schedule, pick out a date, and come see us here in Little Falls. One's popped up, and center fielder was having a little trouble with it, but he did find it and made the catch. That was the center fielder, Figueroa, in center, and that is out number 1 at the bat of John Calabrese. So Edwin Sanchez now the batter for the Dogs. He is the number 2 hitter in the lineup here for Mohawk Valley. Steps into the box with 1 out from the right side. Here's the windup and the pitch. And that is popped up here behind us, behind home plate, and the count 0-1. So 0-1 to Sanchez. And for Sanchez, he has singled twice here tonight in this ball game, looking for another one here in his 3rd at bat. That was high and inside for ball 1, and the count even 1-1 to Sanchez. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody on, 1 out. Bottom 5, Dogs looking to tie this game up down 3-2. Here comes the pitch by R.J. Ensel. Ensel will wind and deliver. Slow wind up and deliver for Ensel. Puts that one in the dirt, count 2-1. Ensel has been kind of moving along quietly in this ball game. So far, so good for both squads. 1 inning caused havoc for both teams, and that was it. And that one catches the bottom corner of the plate for a strike, and the count now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 with 1 out here to Sanchez. On deck, Joey Calabrese. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's the windup, the pitch. High and inside. Ball 3, we have a full count now to Sanchez. So R.J. Ensel, Edwin Sanchez, who's going to win this battle here with 1 out. Ensel winds and delivers to Sanchez. Here's the pitch, and Sanchez gives it a ride as the second baseman is backing up, makes the grab for out number 2. That is Savoca, the second baseman for Glens Falls.
Number 13, from Seton Hall, Joey Calabretti.
So Joey Calabretti, the batter for the Dogs. Calabretti popped out and singled thus far this evening. Here's the windup, the pitch. Curveball curves in for a called strike 1. Nice pitch there by R.J. Ensel. That ball started outside, made its way all the way to the center of the plate for a called strike 1. 0-1. Wind up the pitch. Down low for ball 1, and the count now even at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Joey Calabretti from Seton Hall University. The Pirates. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one misses for ball 2, so 2 balls and 1 strike. Seton Hall Pirates, known for years in the Big East for their basketball. And how much things have changed. A lot of us here in the East Coast loved our Big East basketball. And so much different now. 3 balls and 1 strike. As the Syracuse Orange basketball team, they've regrouped. They've changed their roster a bit. We'll see what happens this season. And we'll put Autry on the spot. He got to win this year or else. Ball's popped up into foul territory. First baseman makes the grab. And that'll do it for the inning. That is Galeo with the catch. A quick inning for the Dogs. And the score remains 3-2. We head to the top of the 6th.
Spring into action and get started on your home projects with Little Falls Lumber. Get your free estimate today for that project, big or small. Little Falls Lumber. They're always happy to help.
Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations and speak to one of our knowledgeable salesmen about your next project.
At Hummel's Office Plus, our customers remain our #1 priority. Hi, Central New York. This is Justin Hummel, CEO of Hummel's Office Plus. If you are in need of a reliable, competitive, and consistent business product supplier, give Hummel's a try. We offer customized pricing, free next-day delivery, and personalized service. With our wide assortment of office supplies, janitorial supplies, furniture, and everything else you need for your workplace, Hummel's is your go-to for all your business products.
And welcome back, fans, for the start of the top of the 6th inning. 3-2 is the score here in Little Falls, New York, as the Glens Falls Dragons hanging on to a slim margin here. 3-2 lead for Glens Falls. And we are back and ready to go with Brandon Miller, the pitcher, on the mound for Mohawk Valley, as we await the batter for Glens Falls. Again, I mentioned Glens Falls 1-4 on the season, Dogs 3-3. So both teams looking for important wins here tonight.
Leading off the top of the 6th for the Dragons is the center fielder, number 17, from Appalachian State, Tyler Figueroa.
And so Tyler Figueroa will lead things off here for Glens Falls here in the top of the 6th inning. Figueroa from Appalachian State, 0-2 tonight. A pop out and a ground out. Here's the pitch from the Mohawk Valley pitcher, Brandon Miller. And that one misses for ball 1. The count 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 pitch. Miller looks in. Nobody on here in the top of the 6th. And here's the windup and the pitch. Big kick by Miller. That big stride, long legs, ball 2. And the count now 2-0 to Figueroa. Figueroa is the center fielder for the Dragons here tonight. Right-handed batter is Figueroa from App State, as we mentioned. Again, Miller is ready to go with a 2-0 count. He's got nobody on, nobody out. And that one is popped foul again in our stands here. So another souvenir for our lucky fans, again, in the tennis court area. That's a popular spot for our foul balls. I always say if you want to get a free souvenir, that's where you got to go. Just keep your head up. You don't want to end up in the hospital down the road. We don't ever want that to happen. But if you do, we got insurance. We got people to help you out. And there is strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch now to Figueroa from Miller. 2-2, there's the pitch. And that is left high by Figueroa. The count now full at 3-2. Nick Galileo on deck here for the Dragons. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. As we are in June. Most of these teams have gotten most of their players coming from their respective colleges. On occasion, some of the players still playing in their playoffs at school, so they will make their way here. Right after that, there's a walk. And so Nick Galileo. So Nick Galileo, now the batter, a right-handed batter is Galileo. 0-2, a strikeout and a pop fly for Galileo. As I was saying, most players have already made their way to the teams here in the PGCBL. Some teams still awaiting players who may have had some playoff runs and maybe some still playing. But they will make their way here as these guys eager to keep playing baseball after their seasons end. As many of you folks know that a lot of these players play in big colleges. They're competitive. They want to work on their skill because they all want to get their name called in June. And that Major League Baseball drafts, a lot of players come out to these collegiate leagues to get more playing time and be seen by the scouts. There's a swing and a miss, and the count now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strikes. If you look across the league, a lot of players from the PGCBL have been drafted by Major League Baseball teams on Major League Baseball rosters, including the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs, as several players have made it. And we are very proud of all those players, whether they're in the majors or in the minor leagues. That's a huge feat for any player in these leagues. 2-1 count now to Galileo. And the count 2-1 with nobody out. Runner on first, taking a short lead, being held on at first base. First baseman over there is Hawk, holding him on. Here's the windup in the pitch by Galileo. Looks at the runner at first before he delivers the pitch. Here's the pitch, and swing and a miss. And the count 2-2. I'm sorry, that was Miller with the pitch to Galileo. And the count now 2-2 after the big swing and a miss by Galileo. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Miller looking for out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. And here's Miller now. Looks at the runner at first. Taking a short lead. Here's the pitch. And that one misses. So full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That ball stopped by the catcher. Mayer took a look at that runner in first. See, he was thinking about going. And he did not. 3-2 now. Nobody out. Runner at first again, taking a few steps off the bag, being held on by Hawk. Miller sets, gets his sign from his catcher, and I'll kick and deliver, and does so for a called strike 3. Unexpected call there from the batter, Galileo, and he strikes out for out number 1.
From Maryville College, Cody Meyer.
So Miller put that one right in the perfect spot, and the men in black made the call and struck him out. So Cody Meyer now, who is also 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop out. Now the batter for the Dragons. Again, now with 1 out, runner on first. Again, taking a short lead, being held on. Here's the windup and the pitch. And there is strike 1. So 0-1 to start things off here to Meyer. With the 1 out on deck, Joe Karpizek for Glens Falls. 0-1. With 1 out. Here's the windup now. And the pitch from Miller. Swing and a miss for strike 2. And the count quickly 0-2 now from Miller. So no balls, 2 strikes. 1 out, runner on first base. 3-2 lead here for the Dragons. And Miller set to deliver. Looks at the runner at first. Has his sign. He's going to kick with that big stride. He's got the big long legs as he comes to home plate. Taking his time, here's the pitch. And that one just high for ball 1 in the count now, 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dawgs looking to keep this ball game at 3-2 as they head to the bottom of the 6th inning. So Miller working his way through these batters here. Right now his attention is on Cody Meyer. 1-2 pitch. There's the windup. And the throw. Taking his time. And that one in the dirt, stopped by the catcher. They're going to throw over as the runner takes off. And that ball gets away. And they're going to throw back because the runner got off the bag. Got a close play at second as the runner gone off the back momentarily as the ball got away from the shortstop. Second baseman was backing him up, made a quick throw to second base, looked close as a runner scampered back, but he is safe. So 2-2 now with 1 out and a runner on second base. And with that, Mayer will run out to the mound to talk to his pitcher. Tell him we got 1 out here. Runner on second base. Let's get this guy at the plate, and we'd have 2 outs. So 2-2 to Cody Meyer. Well, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Meyer here. Big pitch coming up here with 1 out. 2-2, 1 out. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out as Meyer. And now 2 outs here for Mohawk Valley.
Now batting for the Dragons is the third baseman, number 13 from Xavier University, Joe Carpier.
So Joe Carpier, the third baseman who has walked and popped out, is the batter. 2 outs, a runner on second base here for Glens Falls, top of the 6th. Here we go with Miller, looking at that runner a few times before he kicks and delivers and puts it down low for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes to Carpier. 1-0. One 1-0 count, 2 outs. Runner on second, not being held on, taking a generous lead at the moment, bouncing around. And timeout. Oh, they call a balk. A balk is called on the pitcher as the umpire was quick to make the call. And now a runner on third base. The runner was dancing around at second base. The second baseman started to come in, and that's when the pitcher balked on the mound. 1-0, swing and a miss, and the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner on third base for Glens Falls with 2 outs. Wind up in the pitch, and that one's fouled off. And the play made by the player on deck. So nice little play there by Enrique Diaz as he barehanded it. And the count 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Carpier with 2 outs. Runner on third base, 3-2 to score. Top 6. Here's the pitch. And that one gets away from the catcher, can't find it. And that's going to allow a run to score. So 4-2 now. After that one got away from the catcher behind the plate, Mayer. And now with 2 balls and 2 strikes, the score changes to 4-2, Glens Falls. Two and 2 now the count. And that one is high. For ball 3. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Three-two count. 2 outs. Here's the windup now and the pitch. And that is outside for ball 4. And he will take his base, Will Carpier, on the walk. And that'll bring up Enrique Diaz.
And the extra hitter number 4 from Dyersburg State University, Enrique Diaz.
So Enrique Diaz now the hitter for Glens Falls. With 2 outs and a runner on first with Glens Falls ahead 4-2. Runner takes off. Here's the pitch, strike, swing and a miss, and that ball is over the head of the shortstop who's covering second base. And safe at second is the runner, Carpier. So 0-1, I believe, the count. And here we go, 0-1 count. And And the windup and the pitch now coming from Miller. Runner on second base now after the steal. And that is outside. And the count now 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Still 2 outs here for Glens Falls. 4-2 is the lead. Top 6. Here's Miller now with the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss for a strike 2. And they count now 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Miller looks to get out of this inning with just 1 run damage and a 4-2 deficit. Miller again looks in. He's got that runner on second lingering with 2 outs. 1-2 count. Miller sets, winds, and delivers. And that is popped up. And the second baseman makes the grab to end the inning, but not before 1 run scores. And Glens Falls extends the lead 4-2. We head to the bottom of the 6th.
At GPO, we understand every member's journey is unique. That's why our employees take the time to listen, understand, and deliver personalized solutions that fit your life. From budgeting to borrowing, we're with you every step of the way. Your journey, our commitment. GPO Federal Credit Union, committed to excellence.
At Hummel's Office Plus, our customers remain our #1 priority. Hi, Central New York. This is Justin Hummel, CEO of Hummel's Office Plus. If you are in need of a reliable, competitive, and consistent business product supplier, give Hummel's a try. We offer customized pricing, free next-day delivery, and personalized service. With our wide assortment of office supplies, janitorial supplies, furniture, and everything else you need for your workplace, Hummel's is your go-to for all your business products.
Hey fans, tell the world you are here at Veterans Memorial Park watching your Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs. Share your experiences, connect with other fans, and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite team. For more information, visit mvdiamonddogs.com or like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Welcome back, fans. Bottom of the 6th inning, we have a few changes. Now pitching for Glens Falls, number 19, Trent Jenks. Now pitching, number 19, Trent Jenks. Another change for Glens Falls now at first base is Jackson Mueller. So Jackson Mueller now at first base for the Dragons. So bottom of the 6th inning, we are ready to go 4-2. The Dogs are behind here, and they're going to face a new pitcher in Trent Jenks. So Jenks, now the pitcher for Glens Falls. Mueller at first base. And at the plate for Mohawk Valley is Justin Hurd. So first pitch from Jenks to Hurd is a ball, so ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Hurd has struck out and has a sacrifice bunt in this ball game. Here's the windup and the pitch. And there's a called strike. The count now 1-1 to Hurd. So 1 ball, 1 strike from Trent Jenks to Hurd. Jenks, a righty. He's going to wind and deliver and pitch to the righty and Hurd. Here's the pitch. And there's a strike down low, and the count 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Justin Hurd. Jenks sets. Now we'll wind and deliver on the 1-2 pitch, nobody out. And swing and a miss, and Hurd will strike out for out number 1.
Now batting for the Dogs, the designated hitter, number 14, from RPI, Ian Olschlager.
So Ian Olschlager, now the batter. Olschlager, a big right-handed bat for Mohawk Valley. He was walked intentionally last at bat, also singled in his ball game. So here is Olschlager, and inside for ball 1. So Jenks ready to go on the 1-0 to Olschlager. And that one down the middle for a strike in the count, even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Olschlager. And Jenks is ready to go with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the windup and the pitch. And down low for ball 2 in the count, 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Quiet crowd here tonight. Just enjoying some baseball here on a Sunday evening. Sometimes it's nice to just kick back, relax, eat a hot dog, and watch some baseball. And that one is down low as well, 3-1. So we have another bird that has come to watch baseball. This time the bird has taken a spot on the first base side in the infield. Again, birds need to pay admission as well. So we will go and ask that bird if he has a ticket. And the bird almost got hit. And that one is over to first base. He is safe as Olschlager hit the ball in the infield towards the bird. Bird never flinched. And then the player went to grab the ball and almost stepped on the bird. And again, the bird didn't flinch. Bird's still here. He's just moving along. He's going back to his spot. So I'm proud to say that even birds like DiamondDawgs baseball. I mean, that is quite the promotion, quite the accomplishment as animals stick together, right? Birds, dogs, cats. And I'm really going to have to talk to our president and general manager because those seats were never allowed before. And we talk about getting you right in the action. This bird is in the action, folks. And that one is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. So we like to have fun here in the booth. Sometimes our stories are outrageous and silly, but you know what? What are you going to do? They throw over to first base and safe at first. And we'll keep you posted on the bird. 1-0 count. And there one misses. The count 1-1. So the bird is hugging the first base foul line. And we got a camera crew on it. I know we're gonna get a close up. 1-1. Our team is exceptionally strong here. And that ball is hit in between the shortstop and third. And that one gets through in the count. Obviously clears, but now runners on first and second as our bat boy comes out to get the bat. And runners now on first and second for the Dogs as Matt Mayer will come to the plate. So a single by Hawk will bring up Matt Mayer. So with just 1 out, Dogs have runners on first and second. And here is Mayer. Mayer has reached on a fielder's choice and struck out. And that one misses down low for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. One and 0, and the bird is now in the foul territory, folks. Bird is in foul territory. Here's the pitch. And that one fouled off on the count 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. We're having too much fun with this bird. And we're going to try to get him up for an interview here in the booth momentarily. Actually, if he's in the booth for an interview, I'm out. I don't do birds, man. I have like a fear. They flutter too much. So if you want to do an on-field interview, knock yourself out. So 1-1. And that one misses for ball 2. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Again, runners on first and second. So LeBeur's making his way over to the first base coach's box. He's going to do a little first base coaching duties apparently. So our first base coach can just step out of the way. I mean, no need to be there. We don't need to have 2 first base coaches. LeBeur can handle it. 2-1 count. And swing and a miss for strike 2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Matt Mayer, the batter. So we'll try to get back to baseball, but I'm telling you, that bird has distracted me, man. It's like a shiny object. 2-2. With 1 out. Runners on first and second. And a long stare at second base before the pitch is delivered. And that ball hit on the ground. Third baseman scoops it, goes to second, back to first. And they turn the double play, a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. And the Dogs leave runners stranded. And the score remains 4-2 as we head to the top of the 7th.
If you're looking for some shopping and dining, head on over to Canal Place, where you will find quaint shops, galleries, restaurants, and inns situated in the old mill buildings and storefronts along the waterfront of Canal Place. They've become known as the happening place for the arts in the Mohawk Valley. Not so long ago, many of these buildings were working mills serving the garment industry. Even today, after conversion to service retail space, many of these rugged but lovely structures speak to our great regional manufacturing heritage. If you're looking for fine arts, entertainment, or antiques, you simply must pay a visit to Canal Place.
And we are back for the top of the 7th inning. Score remains 4-2 Glens Falls Dragons. You're listening to Perfect Game Collegiate League Baseball from Little Falls, New York, in Veterans Memorial Park. It is the Glens Falls Dragons and the Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs, a battle here in the Eastern Division. 1-4, Glens Falls Dragons 3-3. The DiamondDawgs early on here in the season. Lots of time to move up in the standings. So here we go. And Brendan Miller still on the mound here for Mohawk Valley. And that ball is hit up the middle. That is Aiden Gallagher for a base hit. And a single to start things off here in the top of the 7th. And the third hit of the game only. We were just talking about that in the booth as Enrique Diaz hit a single, Aiden Gallagher hit a single, and Michael Sweeney. So only 3 hits in the ballgame thus far. And with a runner on, here is the pitch. And that one is hit sharply into right field. And at number 16, Cameron Biller with the out. So Joe Haynes now coming to the plate for Glens Falls. So Cameron Biller with the pop out. Joe Haynes now the batter here for the Dragons. A right-handed bat. Runner on first base with 1 out. Top 7. Miller still on the mound here for Mohawk Valley. And that pitch is high by Miller. And the count 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes to Joe Haynes. Haynes was hit by a pitch the first time up and also struck out here tonight. Runner on first, taking a short lead. He takes off. Here's the throw, and not in time as that ball was a little offline as the shortstop knocked it down to make sure it didn't get it into the outfield. So safe at second base is Biller, and Haynes with a 2-0 count at the plate. So 2 balls and no strikes. Joe Haynes ready to face the pitcher, Brendan Miller. Miller winds and delivers, swing and a miss, and there is strike 1 to Haynes. So 2-1 the count, runner on second base. 1 out, 4-2. Glens Falls leads here in the top of the 7th. Wind up and the pitch by Miller. That one's hit to right center field. Center fielder coming fast, and he can't make the grab. It gets past him, and that's going to allow the runner to get to second base. And they're going to send the runner home, and a run scores. And a little dance done by Haynes at second base. And so Haynes reaches safely. Another run scores. 5-2 now the score.
Shortstop, number 9 from Hofstra University, Michael Sweeney.
So Michael Sweeney, who has singled and struck out here tonight, is the shortstop who will come to the plate with 1 out, and a runner on first. Now a 5-2 advantage for Glens Falls. Top 7. Miller the pitcher. Here's the pitch. And he delivers that one high. And the count 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. Miller looking in again. Runner at second, not being held on. Taking a short lead. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And that will knock the count up at 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Here comes Miller now with the 1-1 pitch. Again, runner on second base. 1 out. 5-2 lead. Here's the pitch. Down the center of the plate. 4 called strike 2. And that'll bring us to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the batter, Michael Sweeney at the plate. After Sweeney, we go back to the top of the order with Savoca on deck. That one misses down low, and the count even 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. You can see the banners out in the center field, 2015 and 2017 champions. They're above the stands out there. There's 3 sets of stands, and 2 of them have championship banners, and they're looking for 1 more to complete that outfield look. Little interior design and work will look perfect to put another banner. So all 3 of the stands have a championship banner. Every year, Dawgs put up a fight for that PGCBL championship. Fans here in Little Falls hungry for another championship. It's been a while. And that one has popped up. Miller calling everybody off. And he makes the grab for out number 2. So a pop out by Michael Sweeney. We go back to the top of the order in Janeo Savoca.
For the Dragons, the second baseman, number 2 from the College of Charleston, Janeo Savoca.
So here is Savoca with 2 outs. Again, runner on second base. 5-2 is the score. And Savoca now will step back into the batter's box. A left-handed batter is Savoca. Faces the lefty in Miller. Miller is set to go. There's the windup and the pitch. And there is ball 1. 1-0 now to Savoca the count. Again, that runner at second base not being held on. Taking 3 or 4 steps off the bag with 2 outs. 1-0 to Savoca. Miller looks at the runner at second, winds and delivers. And called strike 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Savoca. Savoca has struck out twice this evening and walked. Strikeouts coming in his first and third at bat and walked in between. 1-1 to Savoca. Here's the pitch. And there is ball 2. So 2-1 now. Dawgs looking to try to keep this score 5-2 heading in the bottom of the 7th. A few runs here and there have added up. 3 runs in the 2nd and now runs in the 6th and 7th has made this a 5-2 ball game. And that one misses for ball 3. 3-1. So 3 balls, 1 strike with 2 outs. Miller looking to get out number 3 here before any more damage. Here's the pitch. And that ball is hit into short center field, and it's going to drop between the second baseman and the center fielder as Savoca reaches safely. And they're going to throw to second as the runner took off, and they got him at second. So they tried to get greedy at second base, and they got the runner. And that will end the inning. So the inning ends with the score remaining 5-2. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th.
Little Falls, New York combines the charms of a small town with the conveniences of a much larger city. Of course, you'd expect to find welcoming people, beautiful scenery, family-friendly activities, and plenty to do outdoors. But you might be surprised to find that Little Falls, New York also has an espresso bar, gem shop, art center, French restaurant, antique centers, local hospital, and extensive civic services and amenities. Not to mention homes both beautiful and affordable, nestled in a dramatic natural setting amongst steep hills that descend to the Mohawk River and Erie Canal. Little Falls, New York. It's a great place to spend a few days or a lifetime.
And we are back, folks. Bottom of the 7th coming up here. And the DiamondDawgs looking to cut into this 5-2 lead. As you know, the DiamondDawgs have always clawed themselves back into games. 5-2 is nothing for the Dogs to climb back in as they put up 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd after 3 runs went on the board. So a couple more runs is nothing for here the Dogs. But they're going to have to start it soon as we are already in the bottom of the 7th inning. So Emmett Coco will lead things off for the Dogs. He'll be followed by Caden Hart and John Calabrese. So first, Emmett Coco, who has struck out in his first at-bat and grounded out in at-bat number 2. So here's Coco, left-handed batter to face the righty in Trent Jenks. Jenks now will wind and deliver on the first pitch here to Coco. And that one takes a bounce in the dirt for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. Coco from Warner University. He steps out of the box as a new baseball comes in. Umpire tosses the other one. And here we go with a 1-0 count. Jenks will wind and deliver to Coco. And right down the center of the plate, and that will even the count at 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Coco, as Coco is the leadoff batter here in the bottom of the 7th. Again, Hart on deck. Here's the windup, the pitch. And that is popped foul down the third base line into the bullpen area here in Little Falls where Glens Falls is stationed. So 1-2 now to Coco as he steps out of the box, takes a practice swing, and just outside the box before he steps in to face Jenks. Jenks is ready, taking a long, hard stare, and he will wind and deliver on the 1-2. And again, fouled off on the third baseline, and the count again is going to stay put at 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes here to Emmett Coco. Coco wearing number 4 from Warner University. Emmett Coco, tonight starting third baseman for the Dogs. 1-2 pitch on its way from Trent Jenks from Hofstra University. Here's the windup, the pitch, and again fouled off as Emmett Coco continues to battle at the plate here against Jenks. So Trent Jenks, may remember another Jenks in the major leagues. Not sure if they're related. I'll have to look that up later on in my research. Bobby Jenks played for the White Sox. Here's the windup and the pitch. 1-2 is the count. Trent Jenks winds and delivers. And down low for ball 2. And the count even at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Emmett Coco. Coco adjusts his helmet. A little stretch with the bat and in the box and ready to go. 2-2. Here's the windup, the pitch. And called the strike 3 as Coco watches that one sail by for the final third strike. So with that, 1 out.
The center fielder, number 11 from Virginia Tech, Caden Hart.
So Caden Hart from Virginia Tech now the batter. A right-handed batter is Hart. He has singled and popped out in his first 2 attempts here tonight. So here he is against Jenks. Looks in. Jenks will wind and deliver. And that one is hit to right field. And it will drop foul as a hard hit ball to right, but just into foul territory. And the count 0-1. So Caden Hart will make his way back into the batter's box to face pitch number 2 from Jenks here. Facing a 0-1 count after the foul ball. 1 out, nobody on. Bottom 7, here's the pitch. Inside, ball 1. A ball and a strike here. Jenks winds and delivers on the 1-1. And big swing to swing and a miss, by Hart. And the count now 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming from Jenks. Taking his time, winds and delivers on the 1-2, and that ball is hit slowly to the second baseman. Easy play for him as he grabs it and throws over to first for the out as he got that ball towards the bottom of the barrel, and that was the second baseman Savoca over to Muller for out number 2. So John Calabrese, the top of the order for the DiamondDawgs. He's the left fielder for Mohawk Valley. His line for the night, a ground out, a strikeout, and a pop fly. So with 2 outs, nobody on, it's up to him here to continue the inning here, and he hits it almost to the same spot. Second baseman Savoca picks it up, throws over to first, and that will do it for the 7th inning. No run score. Score remains 5-2, Glens Falls.
Visit the Daily Post and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the Mohawk Valley. Our mission is to generate interest in the area and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our podcast, or sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Stop by today at thedailypost.digital. You'll be glad you did.
And welcome back, fans, for the top of the 8th inning. We have a new pitcher on the mound for Mohawk Valley. That pitcher is number 38, Drew Harris from George Washington University. So new pitcher for the Dogs, number 38, Drew Harris from George Washington University.
The center fielder, number 17, from Appalachian State University, Tyler Figueroa.
So Tyler Figueroa will lead things off here in the top of the 8th, and he'll go against Drew Harris. First pitch is fouled off by Figueroa, and the count 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Figueroa here in the top of the 8th. 5-2 the score remains. Dogs are down, and that one misses for ball 1, and the count 1-1. A ball and 1 strike to Figueroa. Here's Harris at the windup and the 1-1 pitch. And that is popped up foul. And the count now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Figueroa. Figueroa, the number 2 batter in the lineup here for Glens Falls. Nick Galileo will go up next, and then Cody Meyer. And there is ball 2. So a 2-2 count now to Figueroa. Nobody out. Harris now will wind and deliver. And that one is popped up. And the third baseman calls off the shortstop. Makes the grab for out number 1. And that was Coco calling off Calabretti. And out number 1 here in the top of the 8th inning.
Dragons, the first baseman, number 31, from SUNY Albany, Jackson Mueller.
So Jackson Mueller is the hitter now as he replaced Nick Galileo. And Mueller takes the first pitch for a ball on the count, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, top of the 8th here, Dogs. Trying to contain, down 5-2. 2 more innings to go for them to rack up some more runs here. Here's the windup, the pitch. And that one is fouled off again here behind us. That is probably the 4th foul ball we've seen here at the fence. And the count 1-1 now to Mueller. Wind up pitch by Harris. Curveball misses for ball 2. Nice pitch there, just missing on the inside corner, 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, the wind up the pitch. And that one is fouled off, and the count now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So for those fans who were following the baseball bird, I have no update. He has left the area. He may be at the concession stand picking up some swag. 2-2. There's the windup and the pitch. And he hits that to second base, or shortstop, who grabs it and throws across, throws it high. And they got him for out number 2. So close play there at first base, but the shortstop made the throw a little high. First baseman was able to bring it down and get the tag on him. So Mueller grounds out for out number 2, and Cody Meyer, now your batter here for Glens Falls. So with 2 out, nobody on, Meyer will step up to the plate. And Drew Harris will wind and deliver. Swing and a big miss by Meyer. The count now 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Oh, 1 pitch. Misses down and outside. 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Meyer. Harris ready. Shakes off a few. And now he'll deliver on the 1-1. And right down the center of the plate. 1-2 the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Harris. And that one misses high. And the count even at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cody Meyer. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And that's fouled off. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count. Cody Meyer is set to go, waiting the pitch now from the Mohawk Valley pitcher, and that one hit into the glove of the second baseman to end the inning. So Cody Meyer pops out to end the inning, and we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Dogs down 5-2, looking for some runs. Be back after this.
If you're looking for some shopping and dining, head on over to Canal Place, where you will find quaint shops, galleries, restaurants, and inns situated in the old mill buildings and storefronts along the waterfront of Canal Place. They've become known as the happening place for the arts in the Mohawk Valley. Not so long ago, many of these buildings were working mills serving the garment industry. Even today, after conversion to serve as retail space, many of these rugged but lovely structures speak to our great regional manufacturing heritage. If you're looking for fine arts, entertainment, or antiques, you simply must pay a visit to Canal Place.
Some people might think that the tire shop in Canajoharie only does tires. Nah, that's only their name. The tire shop does so much more. Oil changes, custom wheels, interstate batteries, computer wheel balancing, tire repair service and recapping, auto accessories, tire chains, ag bags, bale and net wrap, and much more. And when it comes to tires, the tire shop in Canajoharie also does so much more. Lawn and garden tires, off the road, backhoe, loader tires, log skidder, agricultural, ATV and UTV tires, and on the farm tire services. The tire shop is a multi-line new tire dealer. That means they're quite a choice for top brand name tires for your car, truck, SUV, semi-tractor, and trailer, all at great prices. They're also a Goodyear national accounts and state contract pricing location. Financing available too. Find more information and a list of services at thetireshop.biz. Thetireshop.biz. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. Yes, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Tire Shop, 155 Erie Boulevard in Canajoharie.
And welcome back, fans, for the bottom of the 8th inning. With the score 5-2, Glens Falls ahead here. And DiamondDawgs are going to give it their best shot here in the bottom of the 8th to try to tie this up. If not, they'll have one more chance in the bottom of the 9th. So it'll be Edwin Sanchez who will start things off here for Mohawk Valley in the bottom of the 8th. He'll be followed by Jolie Calabretti and Justin Hurd. And so here comes the pitch to Sanchez to start things off here in the bottom half of the 8th. And the pitch is out inside for ball 1 to Sanchez. And Trent Jenks, the pitcher on the mound here for Glens Falls. He'll wind and deliver on the 1-0. Right down the center of the plate to Sanchez. The count now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. And here comes Jenks now with the windup and the pitch. And that one right back at us again. And the count now 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. As Sanchez steps back into the box as he awaits Jenks. Jenks takes off his glove, rubs the ball a little bit. It's hot and humid a little bit. And so we are ready to go again, 1-2. And fans, our bird is back. And that one hits Sanchez in the hands, I believe, or did he foul it off? Let's see here. He may have fouled it off because he's not making his way to first base. So 1-2. And the bird that we've been watching all game is back. This time his seats are right in front of the pitcher. And again, we will talk to that bird because he has to pay admission. Those are prime seats here at Little Falls. 1-2. Here's the pitch. Whoa, that one was high. It looks like it hit the batter and maybe the umpire. So he will take his base.
From Seton Hall, Joey Calabretti.
So Joey Calabretti will come to the plate, and Coach Louie, I think, comes down to check on the umpire. Looks like he's good to go. Gets a couple balls, and they give him a little time. And everybody's good to go back and ready as the catcher makes his way back. And so favorite spot for that bird is on that first base side. We've seen him there all game. He usually hangs out right before the foul area. Likes to see the action down the first base line. I don't blame him. So here it comes the pitch. And right down the center of the plate. And that is ball one, I believe. So Calabretti, 1-0 the count. Runner on at first base. Nobody out here in the bottom of the eighth inning. Dawgs down 5-2. And here comes Jenks now with the windup and the pitch. And curveball misses for ball two. And the count is 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. As the catcher is going to make his way to first base. And the coach is, to the mound. And also a mound visit. As we have some activity down the bullpen area. This might be it. We'll see with a 2 ball and no count. No outs.
From Catholic University, Chase Falcon. Falcon, number 10, in right field for Catholic University.
So Case Falcon is now in right field, we're told. So right fielder has changed to Case Falcon. So it looks like no change right now. I believe they're just talking on the mound, trying to buy some more time. We'll see if they're going to make the change mid-player or if they're going to wait. And that just the conference call on the mound, and we'll be back at it with a 2-0 count. So with 2 balls and no strikes, we got nobody out. Runner on first, and the bird is in the first base coach's box. So 2-0. Like I said, we keep you up to date on everything here. And again, coach is kind of that ball gets away, so that's going to bring the runner to second base. The coach has had a first base coach there is going to have time with the bird because technically he is supposed to be the first base coach, but you know when the bird comes in there and says, "Move over, coach," I mean, what are you supposed to do? 3-0. I mean, and to give credit to the bird, he's been pretty consistent. He stayed the whole game. He's really been here. I mean, I think he left once for a snack, but that was it. 3-0 count. There is ball 4, and that'll put runners on first and second here for Mohawk Valley.
Dawgs, the second baseman, number 27 from SUNY Albany, Justin Hurd.
So the Dogs here with a big opportunity with Justin Hurd coming to the plate here with nobody out. They are down 5-2 here in the bottom of the 8th. Dogs have runners on first and second. And after Hurd, big bat, Oschlager is on deck. So here we go. As Jenks will pitch to Hurd here with nobody out. And there is a strike in the count, 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Nobody out, and runners on first and second here for the Dogs. And both teams wearing dark uniform tops. Makes it a little difficult to see what's going on out there. Just kind of notice that. Typically you have the away team will wear the white tops and the home team will wear the dark, but once in a while we see a little different. 1-1 the count here. It just makes it even more a little confusing with our first guy at first base wearing a red batting helmet. Everybody on their side. Whoa! The pitcher throws around and throws it directly to center field. It was like playing catch with the center fielder out there. 1-1 the count. And that'll move the runners over to second and third. So now runners in scoring position for the Dawgs as Jenks turned to throw the ball on the second base and just overthrew second base. Actually, it wasn't even close, as it was about a couple of feet away from second base, and it just went into center field. Center fielder was able to throw it in quickly, but still runners able to move to second and third. Here's the windup and pitch by Jenks, and called a strike. And I believe the count is 1-2. Waiting for the ump to kind of inform us, but we're not getting much information up here in the booth. So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's Jenks looking in. Runners on second and third. Here's the windup and the pitch. And little chopper foul. And that'll put things where they are at 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes, we remain. And so Justin Hurd at the plate will step back into the box to face the pitcher, Trent Jenks. Jenks winds now and delivers. And that one misses. Oh, he called it a strike. Called it a strike down low and inside. Hurd doesn't like it, as it looked low and inside from here in the booth, but again, we just report what we see. And they're going to walk, intentionally walk Ian Olschlager. So that's the second time this ball game that Olschlager has been walked intentionally. They don't want to throw to him. So here is Brendan Hawk for Mohawk Valley. So Hawk with bases loaded and 1 out. Here's the windup now on the pitch. And there's a call strike down the middle to Hawk. And the count 0-1. So Hawk has walked, popped out, and singled here tonight. He's got 1 out, bases loaded, down 5-2. And that is popped up into center field. Center fielder taking a few steps back, makes the grab, runner tags up, and the runner will score. And now the score is 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs. So Hawk with a sacrifice fly. And Matt Mayer now the batter. So the Mayor is in town. Here's Matt Mayer with runners on first and second with 2 outs, down 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. The Dawgs looking to chip away. They still have 1 more inning to tie this game or win it. So they're just slowly tagging on the runs here, 1 run at a time. Here comes the windup now in the pitch as they look at the runner at second, and down the middle for a called strike to Mayer in the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. The catcher from SUNY Brockport reached on the fielder's choice, struck out, and grounded out here this evening. And here we go. Where's the wind-up and the pitch? And that one called strike 2 in the count now, 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Another pitch down low as that strike zone is low to the ground. 0-2 now as Mayer sets now and awaits the pitch from Jenks. Jenks is set. Here's the pitch. And that one is left high by Mayer in the count now, 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Again, runners on first and second. 5-3 the score. The go-ahead run is at the plate. Here is Jenks now. The windup, the pitch. And it's a foul tip. And with that, we're at 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes, bottom of the 8th inning. Dawgs with an opportunity here to tie this game up here going into the 9th or even go ahead. So 1-2 the count. Here's Jenks. He's going to deliver to Mayer. And here's the windup now. And the pitch after he looks at that runner at second, delivers. And it misses. As Glens Falls thought that one might have been a strike. It was not. So we are even at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. And Jenks looking in, that runner at second base not being held on, taking a Short lead, now taking a few steps towards second base as the second baseman creeps in, and that is outside and low for ball 3. So a full count here. Full count to Matt, Mayer, Emmett, Coco on deck for the Dogs. And 2 outs. Dogs are down 2. Bottom 8. And here is Jenks now with the windup. And the pitch. And he steps off. So we'll reset and do it again with a 3-2 count here facing Mayer. So Jenks sets again, looks in. The catcher likes what he got. Looks at the runner at second before he kicks, winds, and delivers. And that ball is a little bloop back to the pitcher. He picks it up, underhands it over to first base to end the inning. And the Dogs pick up 1 run. And the score 5-3. Glens Falls as we head to the top of the 9th.
Spring into action and get started on your home projects with Little Falls Lumber. Get your free estimate today for that project, big or small. Little Falls Lumber. They're always happy to help.
Stop by one of our 3 convenient locations and speak to one of our knowledgeable salesmen about your next project.
Some people might think that the tire shop in Canajoharie only does tires. Nah, that's only their name. The tire shop does so much more. Oil changes, custom wheels, interstate batteries, computer wheel balancing, tire repair service and recapping, auto accessories, tire chains, ag bags, bale and net wrap, and much more. And when it comes to tires, the tire shop in Canajoharie also does so much more. Lawn and garden tires, off the road, backhoe, loader tires, log skidder, agricultural, ATV and UTV tires, and on the farm tire services. The tire shop is a multi-line new tire dealer. That means they're quite a choice for top brand name tires for your car, truck, SUV, semi-tractor, and trailer, all at great prices. They're also a Goodyear national accounts and state contract pricing location. Financing available too. Find more information and a list of services at thetireshop.biz. Thetireshop.biz. Open Monday through Saturday, 8 to 6. Yes, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Tire Shop, 155 Erie Boulevard in Canajoharie.
From Xavier University, Joe Carpier.
And we are back. Joe Carpier is the batter here for Glens Falls here in the top of the 9th. We have a new pitcher on the mound for Mohawk Valley from Herkimer College, Cole Geedy. Cole Geedy, number 40, now pitching for Mohawk Valley. Here comes the windup and the pitch by Geedy. And there's a strike to start things off, and the count is 0-1. So no ball, 1 strike to Carpier. Geedy is set with an 0-1 count. He'll wind and deliver. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for a strike 2, and the count now 0-2. So Geedy comes in, throws 2 pitches for strikes, and looking for 1 more here to put down the first Glens Falls Dragon here in the top of the 9th. Here's the windup and the 0-2 pitch from Geedy. And that one misses. And the count 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Joe Carpier. He was walked, popped out, and walked. So 2 walks on a pop fly tonight for Carpier. And he's facing a 1-2 count here from Cole Geedy. Geedy sets. He will wind, kick, and deliver. Swing and a miss in the dirt for strike 3 and out number 1 here in the top of the 9th.
Now adding the extra hitter, number 4 from Dyersburg State University, Enrique Diaz.
So Enrique Diaz, the extra hitter for Glens Falls, will come to the plate. He has singled, struck out, and flew out in this ball game thus far. First time here facing Guidi. So let's see what happens here as the two match up. Guidi will wind now and deliver. And the first pitch is inside for ball one. So 1 ball, no strikes to Enrique Diaz from Guidi. 1 out, top of the 9th, 5-3. Glens Falls looking to come in here and squeak out a win, but not before the DiamondDawgs have something to say in the bottom of the 9th. But first, it's Guidi here trying to get them out of this inning. And that one misses for ball 2. So 2-0 to count now to Enrique Diaz. 2-0 count, 1 out. Guidi looks in, picks up his sign. And now he's going to wind and deliver to Diaz. And that one is left high for ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes now to Edwin Diaz. I'm sorry, Enrique Diaz. Edwin Diaz is the pitcher for the Mets. So many names in my head here. Yeah, the trumpet guy, right? Timmy Trumpet. That's got to be the best. I always thought Mariano Rivera's entrance was awesome. But the trumpet, when Diaz comes in the game, can't beat it. I think we played that here a little bit last year. Maybe we'll have another appearance of that sometime. Got to be the right time. Here's the windup and the pitch. And there's a pitch down the center of the plate for a strike in the count now, 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike to Enrique Diaz. Here's Guidi now with the 3-1 pitch. 1 out, nobody on. Top 9. And there's ball 4. And so he will take a walk, Will Diaz.
Now batting left fielder number 20 from Hofstra University, Aiden Gallagher.
So Aiden Gallagher now the batter for the Dragons. He's got 1 out and a runner on first. Winning 5-3. So Gallagher's first time here against Cole Guidi. And the pitch, ball 1. So 1 ball and no strikes here to Gallagher. After Gallagher, it is Cameron Biller, who has reached on the fielder's choice and popped up twice. Runner on first, taking a short lead, being held on. They're going to go back to first, and he slides in the bag. The ball gets away from the first baseman, and he might have got hit on that play. And he shakes it off a bit. Looks like he's all right. So the umpire looks over, makes sure everything's good, gets the thumbs up from Diaz, and we're ready to go. So 1-0 pitch here coming to Gallagher. Here's the windup, the pitch, and there's a blast to left field. Left fielder at the wall, at the hail sign, and he can't get it. It gets past him. The runner's heading to third, and they're going to wave him on. He's coming home, and he is safe at home. And the score now 6-3 as Glens Falls adds to this lead here in the top of the 9th. And Gallagher with a double will bring up Cameron Biller with still 1 out.
Cameron Biller.
So Cameron Biller now will come to the plate with a 6-3 advantage as Glens Falls looking to tack onto that lead. Again, looking just for their 2nd win of the year. They're 1-4 on the season. So they're taking the long ride here to Little Falls looking for a win. Dogs still have a chance to make that trip back to Glens Falls, a long ride. If they can come through here in the bottom half of their inning in the 9th. But first, they got to get out of this top of the 9th with 1 out, 6-3. Glens Falls ahead with a runner on second base. Biller at the plate with a 1-0 count. Here comes the windup now on the pitch. And down low for ball 2. So the count now 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes to Biller. Joe Haynes on deck for the Dragons. 2-0 count. Runner at second, take a short lead. Here's the pitch. And that's fouled off in the count now 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. So the wind has stopped. There's the flag in center field is just staying there, not making a single move. A lot of fans still remain here hoping to cheer on the Dawgs to a 9th inning victory. And that one misses for ball 3. And the count now 3-1. Again, fans, if you're in the area, if you're in the listening area, or even you want to take a trip down, check the schedule. We have a lot of games on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. It's a great trip to come down to Little Falls. Hotels are cheap. Find yourself a place to stay, great places to eat, and enjoy yourself and watch some baseball for the weekend. And they say he is safe at third base as he steals third. They throw over, and safe at third. And the count now 3-2 to Biller. So runner now on third base for the Dragons. And 3-2 count now with 1 out. Here's the pitch coming to Biller. Again, runner on third, looking to add to that 6-3 advantage here. Is a little chopper, and that's picked up by the first baseman. He throws wildly past the catcher, and the run scores, and the runner is able to get all the way to second base. So a bad throw there by the second baseman as he picked it up through to home, but it was a wide throw, and the run scores. So 7-3 now the score, as things seem to be falling apart here at the top of the 9th for Mohawk Valley.
From Catholic University, Joe Haynes.
So Joe Haynes now, who has been hit by a pitch, struck out and doubled in this ball game, will give it a chance. Give himself a chance here with 1 out. Looking to add some more here with a runner on second, already leading 7-3 here in the top of the 9th. Here's the pitch. And right down the middle for called, strike 1. So 0-1 count. So the Dawgs in for an uphill battle in the bottom of the 9th. They got to do more work than they expected, as 2 runs have come across here already in the top of the 9th for Glens Falls. Here's the windup of the pitch. In the dirt, stopped by the catcher. And the count now 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little League night here tonight. A lot of kids from the Valley, Frankfurt and Herkimer. A lot of kids wearing their uniforms. Some kids in the crowd watching the game. Other kids by the fence looking for autographs as soon as this game ends. That's the great part of this Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs baseball. These players readily available to the kids, win or lose. They are always very gracious with the kids, signing autographs, talking to the kids, encouraging them, giving them advice. And these kids look up to each and every one of them, which makes this so much more fun. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3, and that is out number 2. So Joe Haynes strikes out, and Mike Sweeney, the shortstop, now will come to the plate.
Michael Sweeney.
So Michael Sweeney with 2 outs, a 7-3 advantage, runner on second. As the Dawgs looking to get themselves out of this inning with minimal damage of 2 runs, and then get to work in the bottom half of the 9th. As anything can happen, if you're a fan of the DiamondDawgs or baseball in general, bats heat up anytime. Things can change quickly. 1-0 count. There's the windup, the pitch, and there's a strike inside, and the count now even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans, don't forget, DiamondDawgs are back here on Thursday night as the mighty Amsterdam Mohawks come to town. And that's always a great contest, so make sure you come out for that night. It is Thirsty Thursday. So if you're an adult, look to have a few beverages, that's the best time to come out here, as we always have a great deal on Thirsty Thursday. 1 ball and 2 strikes here, 2 outs. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. He's taking his time and now delivers the pitch. And called strike 3. That'll do it for the inning. So 2 runs do score. And Glens Falls jumps out ahead 7-3. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Dawgs with a chance to win it if they can tie this thing up first and pick up 1 more run. Back after this.
Little Falls, New York combines the charms of a small town with the conveniences of a much larger city. Of course, you'd expect to find welcoming people, beautiful scenery, family-friendly activities, and plenty to do outdoors. But you might be surprised to find that Little Falls, New York also has an espresso bar, gym shop, art center, French restaurant, antique centers, local hospital, and extensive civic services and amenities. Not to mention homes both beautiful and affordable, nestled in a dramatic natural setting amongst steep hills that descend to the Mohawk River and Erie Canal. Little Falls, New York. It's a great place to spend a few days or a lifetime.
Fans, welcome back. You're listening to Mohawk Valley DiamondDawgs baseball and Perfect Game Collegiate League baseball action, brought to you by Creative Outpost. And again, thanks to all our interns who do work very hard on the cameras and behind the production studios here to keep us on the air. So shout out to them. Appreciate all they do. So here at the bottom of the ninth, Dogs are down 7-3. We have a new pitcher on the mound for Glens Falls. That is number 26, Christian Mello. So Christian Mello now pitching for Glens Falls.
Dogs are down by 4 here in the bottom of the ninth. They need you now. Now pitching for the DiamondDawgs. Number 34 from Trinity College, John Ramsey.
So John Ramsey is the pinch hitter here for Mohawk Valley, number 34. So Ramsey comes into the ball game here for Mohawk Valley. So John Ramsey from Trinity College will look to keep things going here for Mohawk Valley in the bottom of the ninth. Again, Christian Mello is the pitcher and Ramsey at the plate. Ramsey, a right-handed batter for Mohawk Valley. And he's going to start things up here for the Dogs, down 4 runs. All right, here we go. Mello ready to go. He will set, wind, and deliver. And high and inside to Ramsey. Ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. So patience is going to be the key here for Mohawk Valley. Get runners on base and get them across and to home plate. Well, curveball curves in for strike 1, and that'll even things up at 1-1 now to Ramsey. So a ball and a strike here to Ramsey. Mello is ready to go. Christian Mello, he's going to kick, wind, and deliver. He takes a long look at his catcher before he does that. And the pitch is delivered, stopped by his catcher as the ball gets away just momentarily. And he keeps it in front of him, does Haynes.
Your team needs you.
So 2-1 the count. And 2-1 count. Here's the windup now and the pitch from Mello. And down low, hits the bottom portion of the plate, and that will even the count at 2-2. So 2 balls, 1 strike. As the DiamondDawgs faithful, a little nervous, looking for some runs here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Here's the windup and the pitch by Christian Mello. Swing and a miss by Ramsey, and that is strike 1. So the Dogs got to do it with 2 outs.
Now batting for your Dogs, the center fielder, number 11 from Virginia Tech, Caden Hart.
So Caden Hart, now the batter for Mohawk Valley. So Hart has singled, popped out and grounded out here tonight. And all hope is with him and John Calabrese, who will come up after Hart and then will be at the top of the lineup for the Dogs. So first pitch down low to Hart, and the count 1-0. 7-3 the score. Glens Falls leads. Here's the windup and the pitch here in the bottom of the 9th. And that is fouled off. And the count 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Caden Hart. Hart is the center fielder for the Dogs here tonight. The Dogs go on the road for a bit after this game. We won't see them back here until Thursday night, as I mentioned. And the Amsterdam Mohawks will come to town. There's a swing and a miss. And you know how those games go with Amsterdam. Always a battle. As the two heated rivals on the baseball field. Kind of friendly off the field. We won't have dinner together, but, well, you know, we're friendly. We'll say hello. 1-2 the count. It's a good rivalry between the two, and we love it here in the Mohawk Valley. There's a swing and a miss for Caden Hart. And now with 2 outs.
From Bucknell University, John Calabrese.
All joking aside, we here at the Mohawk Valley, we appreciate the Mohawks and how well they play. They put together a great team out there year in and year out. It just makes for a battle every year here in the Eastern Division. There's pitch number 1 to Calabrese, and that's a ball, counting 1-0. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Dawgs down to the final out here in the bottom of the 9th, down 7-3. Here's the windup now on the pitch by Christian Mello. Mello delivers. Does so down low for ball 2 in the count now, 2-0. So 2 balls, no strikes. And Mello is set to go. And the 2-0 pitch on its way. Here it is. And in the dirt. And the count now, 3-0. So Calabrese looking to get on base. It's all he can hope to do here to continue this ball game here for the DiamondDawgs. Down 7-3. 2 outs. They're at the heart of the order here with Calabrese, number 1 in the lineup. And there's ball 4. And so he will take his base and hope that Edwin Sanchez can keep things rolling here.
28 from Siena College, Edwin Sanchez.
So here's Siena's Edwin Sanchez. All hopes are on him to keep this dog train moving here. So for Sanchez, 2 singles tonight. He's also popped up and was hit by a pitch. So we'll take the singles and the hit by a pitch here gladly. And that one is high to Sanchez for ball 1. So 1 ball, no strikes. Christian Mello, pitcher on the mound for Glens Falls at first base for the Dogs, is John Calabrese. 2 outs, down 7-3 here in the bottom of the 9th. It is Sunday night baseball from Little Falls. Here we go. Here's the pitch. And that one misses for ball 2, 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Right down the middle of the plate for called strike 1. They count 2-1. So Sanchez sees his first strike there by Christian Mello. And we're at 2-1 here with 2 outs. Runner on first taking a short lead, being held on by the first baseman. Here's the windup and pitch by Mello. And that catches the bottom portion of the plate, 2-2. And that was questionable. But 2-2 the count. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Dogs down to their final strike here in the bottom of the 9th. Down 7-3. Here's the windup now and the pitch by Christian Mello. And he delivers, and that pitch is fouled off as he stays alive, does Sanchez. The Dogs hanging on to dear life here at Vets Memorial Park. So again, fans, don't forget to set your calendars. Thursday back here for baseball against Amsterdam. 2-2 the count. Mello is ready to go. He's going to set. Looks over his shoulder momentarily, delivers the pitch, and that's fouled up here behind us. And we're going to keep battling here as Sanchez will not be denied, as he's going to keep chipping away to try to get his team some life here in the bottom of the 9th. 2-2. Again, records are 1-4 here for Glens Falls, 3-3 for Mohawk Valley. So Mohawk Valley was looking to go 500 with a win here. And Glens Falls just looking for a win, period. 1-4 the record. Here's the windup and the pitch. And swing and a miss, and that'll do it. As the DiamondDawgs will drop this one 7-3 to Glens Falls. And again, fans, don't forget, we are back here Thursday night. I appreciate you tuning in. Again, thanks to all the fans who made comments on Facebook. Again, thanks to everybody at Creative Outpost for bringing us this game. Thanks to the interns who worked so hard. And we will be back here Thursday night for more baseball. I'm Pete Pagliaro. Enjoy your Sunday evening and have a good night.
Thank you.
ready to play. We're all suited up, we got a game today. We're gonna play fast and we're gonna play hard, gonna knock that ball right out of the yard. So don't just sit there like a bump on a log. Let me hear you holler now. Let's go, Dogs! We got a guy on third and nobody out. It's time to stand up, yes, it's time to shout. We're playing some ball and we're having some fun. Come on, boys, let's score that run. So don't just sit there like a bump on a log. Let me hear you holler now. Let's go, Dogs! We're out on the field and we're ready to play. We're all suited up, we got a game today. We're gonna play fast and we're gonna play hard. Gonna knock that ball right out of the yard. So don't just sit there like a bump on a log. Let me hear you holler now. Let's go, Dogs! Let's go, Dogs! Let's go, Dogs!